Hello, welcome to video training. We'll be covering General Ledger Level 2, Chapter 1, setting up reoccurring entries. Okay, let's go into General Ledger. Before we go into where you set it up, which is obviously in Maintain, Source, and Journal Transfer, we're going to go in and just show you why you would want to do this and what it's typically used for and how it looks. So let's go into our posting program. We're going to manually post some entries, and I'm going to go into Journal Entries. And as we've gone over earlier, we've gone over setting up Format 1. These are all your formats. Those are parts, return, service. That's Format 1. We've gone over Format 6, which is your accounts payable, your auto post. Now we're going to go over one more format, what we call Format 4. I'm going to click here, Payroll Journal. Now, like we mentioned on the last session, there are 3 different ways of posting payroll. You can do it like we did on the session before this, where you're posting it by individual employees, where you're putting in the amount of the check and you're putting in all the taxes. That's one way. The third way is, and if you had 25 employees, typically it wouldn't take more than 10 minutes. So you might have to invest 10 minutes a week. The other method would be maybe you just want to glump it together and you want to build a template and you're just going to make how you want to make your entries, and that's how you got your account set up, and all you want to do is fill in the blanks. Or obviously the third way is if you're using a payroll package that you might be interfacing with. Typically that's not cost justifiable unless you have a large number of employees. Okay, so let's go over this method here where all I'm going to do is I built this template. And now all I'm going to do is I'm keying in this information. Now normally you would build these templates so it matches up to whatever you're keying in. If this is coming from a report that you may be getting from an outside service like ADP or Paychex, then you would want to build this template so the things I'm entering are in the same order as the report. So what this does, it just makes it simple. So now I'm just keying in the blanks. There's the amounts I need to know. Okay, there's this here. It automatically takes care of the sign. I told it was a debit. I told it was a credit. If in fact I put a sign in, it'll override whatever I have here. But I told it when I created this template, I normally want that to be a debit. You need not have all your credits on one side and your debits on the other. You can if you wish, but you can have credits in the middle here. It doesn't really matter. Right now I have $7,000 worth of debits. I can't post anything unless I'm in order. And you would fill in whatever options you want to fill in, obviously. Now I'm going over here, and what I have right here is I have $7,300, so we'll just $7,300. That's going to make my credit. And now my balance is 0. I'm okay to post. I'm going to post this. Now when you post a Format 4, it's going to ask you for a description. What is this? So it shows when you actually list it. And there again, you can key in as much or as little as you want. I'm going to hit F12, and now that is now posted in my system, and if I want to do some more, I can. And what that did, if I look it up, there again, there it is. I just put this in, week 5 payroll. If it's been posted already, obviously, if I want to see what it looks like, there's the entries that were made. There's all my debits and credits. Now I saw that by clicking Options and saying I want to see my individual entries, Shift F3, Detail. Or if I want, I can say Display Account Numbers. It will tell me all the account numbers that it's actually putting the entries in. So that's what we call a Format 4, and it's typically used for setting up, if you're like, say at the end of the month, we have a mortgage payment, you have some fixed expenses that there might be 7 or 8 entries that you put in every single month. You may want to set something like that up. By and large, most people with doing that kind of stuff usually use the auto post. But let's go in and show you how you set that up. So from here now, we're going back to our General Ledger main screen, and we're going to go into Maintain, Source, and Journal Transfer. And there again, we already talked about Format 1. We've talked about Format 6, and now we're going to go into User-Defined Posting, Format 4. We send you these samples. Let's take a look at it. I'm just going to select Next. And this is how it did that. I basically gave it a description. First of all, you'd give it a journal number. You can make up your own number for it if you want to keep it separate and have your own separate journal, so everything you post is going to be organized in a separate journal. And normally that's the way it's done. and why you're using it, what the journal would be called for, the description of the journal. You're going to give it a description of what you want, and you're going to get the account number that you want. There again, if you click on it, you can look up any account number you want. It's the same as all our other screens. And then you basically say it's normally going to be a debit or a credit. So it's relatively easy to, type in whatever you want it to be. Hit the tab key, type in the number that you want to use, hit the tab key, type in whether you normally want it to be a debit or a credit. There again, you can override it anytime you want, but it just makes things easy. If you know that that's normally going to be a credit, then by all means, tell it it's a credit. So it'll automatically, if you don't put in a plus sign, it'll actually make it a credit. When you're done doing this, if you're creating a new one, you'd select A for add. If you're changing one that's out there already, you'd hit change. And you can create as many of these as you want for different types of categories. Okay, pretty simple. If you want to clear the screen and just start with a brand new fresh one and create a new one, obviously clearing the screen is probably the easiest thing to do. Give it a journal number, new, and there again, you make up your description of what you want to call it. That tells you what that is. This would be the account number, whether you type it in or whether you pick it from your expense, and you put in whether it's a whatever you want for the sign to be. If all I want to do is make 2 new entries here, there again, meaningful descriptions are probably more important. Put in the account number, and maybe this is a minus. A for add, and now I've created a new template that I can now use. There again, it's only used for saving you some time. So if you find yourself making postings and typing in the same account numbers over and over again, this will eliminate that. Okay, this concludes the session.